In traditional Chinese culture, having a son is regarded as a duty to continue the family lineage, as sons are believed to carry on the family name. To fulfill her late husband's wish and ensure the continuation of the family line, Mrs. Gao spared no effort in seeking a male baby. Fate favored her, leading her to meet the highly respected Master Chen. Moved by her devotion, Master Chen decided to assist her in praying to Guanyin, the goddess of mercy, for a son. Throughout this process, a series of miraculous events unfolded, leaving everyone in awe. A life of hardships, 2 marriages, 2 fates. Mrs. Gao's life was filled with hardships. She went through 2 marriages, each vastly different. Her first marriage, though full of struggles, gave her a lovely daughter. After her divorce, she raised her child alone. Years later, she remarried and built a happy family with Mr. Gao, welcoming a younger daughter. However, their happiness was short-lived. Mr. Gao passed away suddenly due to illness, leaving her to care for 2 young daughters on her own. On his deathbed, Mr. Gao expressed his deep regret for not being able to leave behind a male heir. These words left an indelible mark on Mrs. Gao's heart, becoming an obsession she found impossible to let go of, fulfilling a last wish, continuing the family line. After her husband's passing, Mrs. Gao knew she could no longer bear a son for the family. Her only hope rested on her 2 daughters, wishing that one day they would find suitable partners to continue the family bloodline. Her eldest daughter, Ying, was diligent and responsible. After graduating from university, she became an accountant. However, in her personal life, she grew increasingly withdrawn, rarely speaking and showing signs of mental distress. Despite Mrs. Gao's tireless efforts to seek medical help, Ying's condition remained unchanged. As the years passed and Ying remained unmarried in her 30s, Mrs. Gao felt both heartbroken and helpless. In contrast, her younger daughter Ling was intelligent and optimistic. She was admitted to a prestigious university in Guangdong, where she met Zheng, a medical student. The 2 fell deeply in love, but Ling always carried a strong sense of responsibility. She knew she had to take care of her mother and sister, as well as fulfill her father's unfulfilled wish. As graduation approached, Ling confided in Zheng, saying, "I must return home to take care of my family, and our children must take my family name." Hearing this, Zheng firmly held her hand and replied, "Your family is my family." His promise gave Ling great comfort. At that moment, she realized that their love was not just about romance, it was also about responsibility and unwavering companionship. A fateful encounter, meeting Master Chen. After graduating from university, Zheng followed Ling back to her hometown, Yichun, a city in southeastern China. He secured a position as a doctor at a local hospital, while Ling found an ideal job at a well-known company. On their wedding day, as she watched her daughter step into marriage, Mrs. Gao was filled with joy and gratitude. She felt thankful that fate had brought Ling a trustworthy life partner, as if making up for many of life's regrets. In the 2nd year of their marriage, Ling became pregnant, and the entire family was overjoyed at the prospect of welcoming a new life. After 10 months, she gave birth to a healthy baby girl. However, despite her happiness, Mrs. Gao still harbored an unspoken sorrow. She had yet to see the arrival of a male heir to continue the Gao family lineage. Determined to fulfill this wish, she frequently visited temples, burning incense and praying devoutly, hoping that the deities would grant her family a baby boy. In 2005, during one of her temple visits, Mrs. Gao met a fellow Buddhist devotee. They quickly bonded over their shared beliefs. Upon learning of Mrs. Gao's deep-seated wish, the woman spoke mysteriously about a highly respected master, Master Chen. She said, "Master Chen possesses profound spiritual insight and can communicate with divine beings. She has helped many destined individuals fulfill their wishes. My relative once sought her guidance and successfully overcame a major business crisis." Intrigued and filled with hope, Mrs. Gao decided to visit Master Chen, following the recommendation of her new Buddhist friend. Master's guidance. Guanyin's blessing of a son. When Mrs. Gao met Master Chen, she poured out her deepest wish with utmost sincerity, hoping the master could help her daughter conceive a son. Master Chen listened attentively and, upon learning of the Gao family's devout faith in Buddhism, decided to offer guidance, instructing them to pray to Guanyin, the goddess of mercy, for a child. The ritual for seeking a child had to follow a strict set of procedures. The most auspicious days were the 1st, 8th, and 15th days of the lunar month, as well as Guanyin's sacred birthdays on the 19th days of the 2nd, 6th, and 9th lunar months. The offerings required careful preparation, including incense, candles, fresh flowers, fruits, 3 cups of tea, and symbolic foods such as pastries, red dates, longans, and lotus seeds. Additionally, a written prayer petition had to be prepared, detailing the names, family background, and wishes of the devotees, which would then be placed before Guanyin's statue. To signify eternal blessings and prosperity, 999 lotus lamps were to be lit. On the 19th day of the 2nd lunar month, Guanyin's sacred birthday, Mrs. Gao, her daughter, and her son-in-law visited Master Chen once again. Under the master's guidance, they lit incense and candles, presented offerings, and kindled the 909 lotus lamps. With deep reverence, they knelt, pressed their palms together, and bowed 3 times before Guanyin. Then, raising their hands to their foreheads, they chanted Namo Guanyin Pusa 7 times, expressing gratitude for the goddess's compassion and blessings. As the temple filled with swirling incense smoke, Master Chen sat in meditation, entering a deep spiritual state to communicate with Guanyin. After a while, she slowly opened her eyes and solemnly declared, "Your son-in-law was destined to have only one daughter. However, by marrying into the Gao family, his fate has changed. This is because you, Mrs. Gao, have spent decades devoted to Buddhist practice, offering prayers and making generous donations. Your accumulated merits have brought blessings to your family. Moved by your sincerity, Guanyin has decided to grant you a son." Master Chen pressed her palms together and sought further divine guidance before speaking again. "Guanyin has already placed a baby boy within your daughter's karmic field. However, blessings must be cultivated. If you wish to receive this child, you must uphold kindness, perform good deeds, and accumulate virtue. Only then will your wish come true." Mrs. Gao and her family were deeply moved and filled with gratitude. With unwavering faith in Guanyin's blessings, they wholeheartedly accepted the master's teachings, vowing to practice kindness and patiently await the fulfillment of their sacred wish. Blessed with a precious son, a miracle during pregnancy. From that day on, Madame Gao and her family prayed devoutly, performed good deeds, and waited with hopeful anticipation for the arrival of a baby boy. A year later, when Ailing became pregnant again, the whole family was overjoyed. Madame Gao burned incense and worshipped the Buddha daily, expressing her deep gratitude for the Bodhisattva's blessing. However, 2 months later, during a prenatal checkup, the doctor informed them that the fetus had no heartbeat. The news sent the family into despair. In a state of panic, Madame Gao rushed to see Master Chen and poured out all their worries. After a moment of deep contemplation, Master Chen closed her eyes, focused her mind, and then firmly reassured Madame Gao, saying, "Do not worry. The child has a heartbeat. Everything is fine. Just be patient and wait." Hearing this, Madame Gao felt as if a great weight had been lifted from her heart. She immediately shared this reassuring news with her daughter and son-in-law. Although Zheng was still skeptical, Madame Gao's unwavering faith convinced him to wait a little longer. As the anxious waiting continued, Ailing entered her 4th month of pregnancy. Yet, the medical checkup still could not detect a fetal heartbeat. Zheng's colleagues advised him to arrange for an induced abortion as soon as possible, warning that the fetus had likely stopped developing and that delaying any longer could pose serious health risks to Ailing. Hearing these words, Zheng wavered. After all, as a doctor himself, he knew his colleague's advice was medically sound. However, Madame Gao refused to give up. She once again sought guidance from Master Chen, who, without hesitation, reassured her. The baby is perfectly fine. This child is a blessing from the Bodhisattva and is different from an ordinary fetus. Current medical technology simply cannot detect the heartbeat yet. You only need to believe that everything is normal. When the time is right, the heartbeat will be found. With the master's firm promise, Madame Gao returned home and resolutely told her daughter and son-in-law, "Since the Bodhisattva has bestowed this child upon us, we must wait. Believe in miracles." Under Madame Gao's strong insistence, the couple reluctantly chose to continue waiting. Days passed, and Ailing reached her 6th month of pregnancy. Throughout this time, the family lived in constant anxiety. Then, during a routine checkup, a miracle happened. The doctor was astonished to find a strong fetal heartbeat, and the baby was developing normally. Family legacy, gratitude and hope. In the 40th week of pregnancy, Ailing safely gave birth to a healthy baby boy. When Madame Gao held her grandson, the symbol of hope, in her arms, tears once again blurred her vision. Overcome with emotion, she silently spoke to her late husband. "Old Gao, just as you wished, our family finally has an heir." As time passed, Madame Gao's grandson grew into adulthood. She firmly believes that all of this was not mere coincidence but a blessing from Guanyin Bodhisattva and a miracle brought about by Master Chen's divine guidance. Now, Madame Gao's greatest wish is to see her grandson establish his career and start a family, ensuring that their family lineage continues for generations to come.